I'm headed to the other cabin, but I've been in here doing a couple of different things, getting ready for some big stuff coming up for us. Man, I'll tell you what, there's not enough hours in the day, but I do have a topic that I want to talk about today. It's something that eBay does that I'm not a huge fan of. Matter of fact, I've been offered opportunities to do this, and I've turned them down in the past because I really don't think it's the best thing for most people. But also another change that I've seen on eBay this month, and I want to talk about that and get your opinion of it. And we got some cool sales. Let's go take a look. Usually I am not a fan of change. Certainly not a fan of big change. But eBay's made a few subtle changes along with some of the bigger ones they've made. And these two I actually think are good changes. But there's also something that I don't love that I see on it. I've seen it for a while, but I've seen more of it lately. And I've actually had 2 people comment about it. This is a little vintage Lion King towel. I love picking up towels. They're not always big money, but they seem to do okay for me. $14.95 plus shipping. I guess we'll start with this one. If you remember a while back, I said that, well, I did say it on here, but it was said by eBay that they were no longer going to accept American Express. But now they are accepting Venmo, which I think is a very good decision for the future. I'm a little surprised it took this long, but I think it's a wise decision. And they're making a few other little changes as well as far as how you can spend money on there, and I think they're both smart, and we can learn a few things from it actually personally, which I've talked about before. This is a cool item, but I had no idea what the heck it was. So I just looked at it and I'm like, that looks like it's anime, and it looks funky, and it looks clean. I'm gonna pick it up for as cheap as they had it, and I'm glad I did. I'm see if I can pronounce this stuff right. I have no idea what this stuff is, but Naruto, Garo, Gourd, sack, backpack, sling bag, I don't know what you want to call it, but I'll call it a little bit of cash, and it sold for $32.90 plus shipping. So before I get to the thing that I don't like seeing, and I want to get your opinion on it, there'll be some varying opinions because I brought this topic up in the past. But before I get to that, I got to do 2 things. The next thing we're going to talk about here is shop with your spendable funds, which I think is a really, really good idea, and I want to get your opinion on that. But I got to talk about this next sale really quick. If you remember the last video, we sold that record that was over here, the Great White Once Bitten record. I paid $5 for it, sold for $495. This is the same day. These were bookend yard sales. So the very first sale of the day, I picked up an item for $5 and sold it. I'm trying to get this fixed here. Sold it for $500, and then the very last sale of the day, I picked up an item for $5, sold it for $500. Actually, it sold for $495 plus shipping. This is a safety lantern, and there's comps all over for safety lanterns, but I did not see any near as high as this because of this particular one. Now, one had sold, I think, identical to it. It says Scranton, AM Safety Lamp, Scranton, I don't know what it's, Pennsylvania, and this one looks like it's in great condition, other than maybe it was painted or something. I'm not quite sure at the top, which means I was willing to take a little less than the last comp, which was a couple $100 higher, and I waited around a little bit. I was fielding offers around the 300s, 350, 315, 415, and I finally got an offer for $495, and I took it. That was crazy good. I gotta give my dad props because we were at this estate sale run by a family, just like a yard sale, I suppose. And I said, hey, I just went through the garage and looked at a couple things as I went through the garage, and then went upstairs, found some good stuff. And I said, hey, Pop, you don't mind staying out here and just looking through the garage? Because there's people behind. And let me know if you find anything. He's like, yeah. And he saw some lanterns, and he saw some Coleman lanterns and whatever, and they're like $30, $50 lanterns, and they wanted $15. I'm like, that's too much trouble for that. And he said, well, what about that one? And he pointed down, and I saw this thing. I'm like, no, that looks interesting. Had no idea. I figured just as a safety lantern, it would be in a coal mine or something. It would be $100 or so. And the more research I did, the more I realized I had something really good there. So that was an awesome sale. Shout out, Pop, for pointing me in the right direction over there, even though you thought the other ones were worth more money. And they were okay for those old Colemans. This was the big winner, so I owe you dinner. One more and then the topic. This is the second big Tupperware bowl that we sold, and like I said, these go for right around 20 bucks plus shipping, and that's exactly what this one went for pretty quickly. So you see other sites, and I don't have all the answers. I have some speculation. Hopefully you can help me out with this. Maybe some of you have signed up for this thing here. Your money, your way. Get more control and flexibility over your funds on eBay. Now you can shop with your spendable funds as soon as the buyer pays. So if you've got funds coming in, you can take that money and spend it before it gets processed and into your bank and all those other things. I don't know, whatever system you use. And I usually use, I hate credit cards, y'all. I hate credit cards. But I do have a business credit card for revolving things, you know, and doing all that. And I hate doing that, but I do it because it makes tons of sense and it just automatically gets paid every month. So covering your selling costs like shipping labels with your spending fund, that's what you can check that box already. Of course, I already do that. Choose when, actually, no, I don't. I take it back. I used to do that. Now I do the card, but that's a different story. Choose when you get paid on demand or on schedule. And I think this is moving towards the Mercari model, of course, where you can pay a fee and get your money out sooner or be on the schedule. They're making money off of money. I'm not a huge fan of that part of it. I certainly don't suggest, you know, if you got to get your money out of there and you got to pay that fee, man, you want to find yourself in a better situation than that eventually. And I hope that's the goal of most folks out there. Let me know what you do. I know Carrie, American Arbitrage, always like, I just want it now. He's just kind of funny about it. But I think this is a good change in going about things this way. I want to know kind of the reason behind it more than anything, but I think this is a good thing, and I really think I advocate for people to have their money, if there's excess in any way, shape, or form, and even if there's not, begin a system where there's even just a little bit. Have your money make money for you, especially in inflationary economies, which we have been in for a very long time. And I'm not just talking recently, I'm talking, you know, going way, way back. I mean, we live in an inflationary economy almost perpetually, and we will in the near future. There's no doubt about it. Now, I'd like that to be a small little inflationary number. This is not political commentary. This is stuff I've said for years, but I think it's important that money sitting there, you know, $100. I used to talk about this with my students in my AP World History class and in my regular history class. And I used to ask them, what's $1 worth? And they'd come up with all these crazy things. And I used to end it. I used to take a dollar bill from a kid and say, you know, this is worthless, and throw it to him and whatever. And just kind of get the class's attention. And I would say, you know, $1 is worth, and then I would used to mention the dollar menu. And it used to be a junior bacon cheeseburger at Wendy's, because there's a Wendy's across the street from the school. And they started to get it. $1 isn't worth 4 quarters, 100 pennies. $1 is worth what it can buy, and that changes. So if you have a $100 bill sitting on the table, that $100 bill is losing value as it sits there. And so all these companies know this, and they learn how to make money on money, and this is part of what they're doing here. They like to make money on our money, just like Mercari. You keep your money in there without withdrawing it to pay the fee, and then they can make money on our money. And I don't like that, of course. But I think this is a good decision to especially expand the buying market to a lot of us sellers. I buy on eBay as much as I can, especially during Q4. I buy tons of Christmas presents from other resellers. We get on the Trash to Cash Facebook group, and I post things that I'm looking for, and people will send me links. I think it's important, if we're sellers on there, we should also want to be buyers. eBay hasn't done things in the past that really encourage us to do that, and I think they really should do a better job of that. And you know, eBay will push things from time to time. You'll always see the, hey, promote your items. You know, you see those little messages coming to you. And there's another message that I see way more than I used to see, and I've even had some people comment about it that I'm not a particular fan of. Picked up a couple of lighters. One was a Zippo, United States Marine Corps, and it's got the logo on it. It's a little loose right there, but it still sells for good money. And then I picked this one up. That's a Zippo. This is not a Zippo. It's just generic. I don't know where it's made, but this is, what do they call it? Hell in a Helmet. And there was some Hell in a Helmet stuff on eBay, but no lighters. So I'm like, this has got to sell for something decent. And it did. It sold for $34.95. plus shipping. You know, eBay is a big platform and they sell ad space and they partner with different people, just like I partner with different people from time to time. And one of the things I get messages for all the time are companies that want me to promote small business loans and credit. And I want to talk about that in just a second. County Crows, y'all. I love this. Recovering satellites. I paid $1 for this. And it sold. I thought I'd get like 12 bucks, but I didn't. And it went out with a little send off for $9.45. Whoop. Plus shipping. So I've seen more than ever lately eBay pushing those loans. You know, capital is not as easy to come by as it used to be, and the interest rates are higher. Consumer debt is higher. Consumer savings is down. So there's not as much, you know, expendable capital out there. And so now they're pushing that. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's never a reason to do that stuff, because there may be, and there's different circumstances, but I don't know. I just don't like the idea of eBay pushing it out there on their web. You know, I think I saw it on the Seller Hub the other day. I see that stuff, and I get it, right? eBay's its business, and it might be right for some folks, but I often get the question, you know, how much money do you need to start this business up? The answer is very little, maybe even none. If you set up your systems correctly at the beginning, you can sell stuff that you have and begin to take a portion of that, or maybe pay yourself nothing. Just say, hey, I'm going to pay myself nothing for a year and put all this aside and reinvest the money and do that stuff. You know, you can do it. I love my Rollo printer and that link below and all the stuff we have. I appreciate y'all using those links. But the reality of it is you can start with very little. You don't even have to buy boxes and anything. I would suggest early on, though, getting some poly bags, depending on what you're selling. And you can find all that stuff dirt cheap. And, you know, you need a little bit of tape. You need a scale. You need a few very inexpensive things to start this business. And I just don't, you know, obviously there are bigger sellers on eBay and, you know, that it might make some sense for. But I just don't see it for most folks. Have any of you ever done any of these small business loans, try to get capital to do a big deal or do something like that? I think for this kind of reselling, it's just bad business. You know, I don't love selling shoes. I don't like it at all, actually. But even I can spot a good deal when you're the first one at a yard sale and see all these clean shoes laid out and the prices were right. And I bought a bunch of shoes. This is something I want to talk about here. And yeah, look at this. They just got listed. They sold quickly for 90 bucks plus shipping. These, I don't even know what they're called. Are they Lunar or something? They look like they've never been used, not one time. And I think I paid 10 bucks for them. Sold for $90 plus shipping. And you know, I've talked a little bit lately about wholesaling some stuff in shopcommons.net and reseller to reseller wholesaling. I've been on the circuit. I was on RIN. You guys should go check out this one. Matter of fact, if you want to be a seller over there, or well, yeah, not a buyer, you don't need to do anything to be a buyer, but if you think this model might fit you and you're willing to follow these guidelines to keep this thing really beneficial for all parties involved, watch that RIN episode I was on with those guys. If you watch that and then come over and apply and you think it's right for you, then maybe we can do that. We're going to keep those limited and kind of beta test this thing, make sure all parties involved are excited about it. But my whole point is that we've decided to sell off a bunch of shoes. I really want to stay, and I mean, who wouldn't like to sell $90 shoes that you paid 10 bucks for, right? I think we got another pair of shoes going out. I'm filming 2 episodes today, y'all. There are 39 sales. And I'm just like, I got to film 2, which is good because I'm going to be leaving on a couple highway sales and I need a couple extra videos. So I'm like, instead of doing 1 giant video, let's do 2. So you'll see that one on the next one. But I think I sold a pair of $50 shoes on that one. And so what I'm trying to do is get like $40 shoes and below, maybe even 50 and below, and put them all together and wholesale them off for, you know, $5-10 bucks a piece, something like that, where somebody can make some money and I can focus on the things that I'm good at because I'm not good at that. So what are you doing to make sure that you have enough capital when you see those incredible deals that you need to have? I know a couple of storage unit folks that are constantly battling that to make that big deal instead of a bunch of small ones. they got to have capital, and so they have to manage their stuff wisely. And I think everybody, no matter how early it is, to set up a separate bank account is a wise idea. This an ES Advantage, y'all. I used to do track and field with that one. Boy, that was cool. That one sold quick, $21.95 plus shipping. So let me know in the comments, do you have a separate bank account? I think that is an absolute, well, it's not a must, but let me tell you, it makes your life a lot easier, especially if you plan on growing. And how many of y'all set a certain portion of your gross aside every time it comes in and put it in that account? I actually have 2 different business accounts, because one of them I use for expendable capital in order to go out and source more, and I put a certain percentage of, actually I put a steady amount, and if my profits or if my gross is over that amount, I take a percentage of that amount and put it in there as well, so that it's steady and I pay myself a set fee. And only once in the last year have I not met the amount where I can pay myself that set fee. And that was because we were on vacation. Actually, it was the week we got back from vacation, but you get the point. So if you set up those processes, you can avoid that temptation to do these little loans and stuff. And like I said, I get messages all the time, and there's a lot of stuff I will do if it makes sense for me, makes sense for the company, makes sense for the audience. I'll do those things. But you know, that kind of stuff, and you know, short-term loans and all the ridiculous interest rates, that stuff gets you in trouble pretty quick. I had a guy ask me the other day if it was a good idea, because he lost his job, to take a home equity loan out and start his reselling business. And I'm like, start your No, I said, that's not a good idea. not at all. So all of these, this was the deal of the day. Lori picked them up, and we put them out there a lot cheaper than we would normally, just for the deal of the day. And we've been doing that lately. And thank you to all who have purchased those. We'll be announcing those here soon. We appreciate you. So all these cut and sew Care Bears are going to Lori, and I thank you. I think we sold them for $39.95 over there on dibdit.com. And now that reminds me I should do the next one. I pulled this one right here. It's a Golden Girls brand new t-shirt in a bag. It's 2X, it looks like. And you know what? I'm going to put this over there for $5. And that'll be the deal of the day over on dibdit.com. Here is one. I don't know who this Unmatched Fury, the Samoa guy here, WWE. And that one didn't sell for too much, but it did sell $11 plus shipping. Get the financing your business needs. Source more inventory. And this is eBay's little ad that they have right here. I found it. Invest in marketing and more with funding from eBay Seller Capital Partners. I'm not doing a commercial for this, by the way, the opposite. Why choose eBay Seller Capital? It's fast. Get funds as soon as the next business day once approved. Convenient, transparent, no hidden fees and all that stuff. So there may be folks that this applies to out there, but man, I just cringe every time I hear these newer resellers talking about this kind of stuff and financing stuff and taking loans out to get him. It's just not necessary, and it's not wise either. And here is a viewer sale. This is just, I couldn't pass this little Norway troll up with the tag knife for him. I thought maybe it'd be worth a little bit more than it was, but I still only paid $1, and it sold for $18 plus shipping. And that one is pretty cool looking, Jenny, and it went to Jenny here, so thank you. I saw this troll while watching your Flipper channel. My story is Sassy's Trunk on eBay. Thanks for the entertainment and useful perspectives you offer up. Blessings to you and your family, Jenny. Jenny, thank you. I hope you enjoy that funky looking troll. Let me read this. This kind of blows my mind right here. This is the business cash advance right here, and it says financing up to $1 million with flexible payments. So this is certainly not for the small-time reseller. However, the qualifications match the small-time resellers, or really small-time. To qualify for a business cash advance, you must have, and I'm certainly with this, you couldn't qualify for $1 million, but sales history within the past 3 months on eBay, 1 transaction per month in the last 3 months, and at least 5,000 total eBay revenue in 12 months. You might as well not have any requirements. Sold a Squishmallow, and I have a few of the bigger ones inside, and I can't tell if this one's big or small. So I got to check this first, and then I got to go inside. But I just actually, in between here filming, I went and signed up for that new thing where, you know, spendable funds and whatever. I just went through and clicked it just to give you some information. And one of the things it does, be warned, is it takes you off of your scheduled payouts. I do a weekly payout. And some folks do it monthly. Some folks do it, I don't know if you could do it more than that. I think it's daily. And now they've opted you into an on-demand if you go through that process. And I don't want to be on demand. I want that weekly schedule. So I had to go and reset that, which they let you do. Pull this one out of the Montana bin. It doesn't matter how much I pull out. It's still full. It's crazy. I guess when they squish down. This cat, somebody told me the other day I give bad advice. And I was like, okay. So this one sold, and that was because of Squishmallows and Funko Pops. And this one sold for $21.95 plus shipping, and I paid $1. So they said I should never, ever tell people to buy Funko Pops. It's just a terrible decision, and people, you know, buy them. I shouldn't even sell them because they're worthless. I'm like, okay. Look, Funko Pops are bad. There you go. But in every category, you can find some winners. Squishmallows. I wouldn't just go out and buy every random Squishmallow, although I did with this one lady because they were $1 a piece, and there's 100. I bought 120 over 2 days. And I knew there'd be some winners in there, and there was a bunch of winners in there. And I also have outlets to sell other stuff off. I thought, you know, if I had this shopcommons.net, I might have pulled the 15 or so that are worth $20 or more, and I might have put the rest in a giant bundle and sold them off all for $50 and made half my money back and made money on these. I'm not sure what I would have done with them, but I was selling them off on Dibdit.com. I don't know, we might have done some on Whatnot, I think, too. And you've seen me sell some of these Funko Pops that I bought the other day. And I left a ton behind. So there are some winners. But I do get it, right? I'm not out there. I think I'm pretty transparent about that kind of stuff. Maybe this person just watched that one video. Unlike the Nutmeg State Flipper. I think that's a YouTube channel, y'all. And they got an Inaman. You'll see they're really, really low. We've really slowed down how many of these we're doing. But we do have an auction up, I think, right now. So we're selling a few off, maybe a couple a month at this point. So we don't have anything but that left, and the few that are left in there. So thank you to so many people who have bought the little plush Enema over the years. We so appreciate it. And as always, there are a lot of new folks who have no idea what that thing is, but it has been our reselling mascot to get your eBay store moving for a long, long time. And we appreciate you for purchasing this one, and we hope it gets things moving for you. Speaking of viewer sales, we've had more today than we've had in a very long time. And I gotta make sure, we do have enough. Good. There's 3. Laura said something to her husband. She said, I want all 3 of them. So bought 3 of these Black Rifle Company mugs that are still in the box, and it was just under $75 plus shipping. Laura said, just remember to tell my hubby about these Black Rifle coffee mugs. He said, buy 3. Looks like I ordered just in time. Please combine shipping. Yes. And if I ever forget, y'all, you can remind me. Sometimes I do. I usually write it down. As soon as I turn this camera off, I will. Thank you. All the best to you and yours. Hope Reagan is recovering well. She's got to be in that thing for another couple of weeks, unfortunately, but she's doing okay. Here is that second lot of American Eagle tees that sold. And we're not making a ton of money, but to me it was worth it. We'll profit around $20 on each bag, so $40. This one sold for $35 plus shipping for a whole lot of same size American Eagle t-shirts. So I'm not accused of giving bad advice. I don't suggest picking up American Eagle t-shirts. Some of them may be like new with tags, might make you a little bit of money, but the reason I did that was because they were $1 a piece, and I think I might even got a deal on that. And they were all exactly the same size, different colors, different graphics, and that made it worthwhile. It's like the last viewer sale of the day. Deanna bought one of the Z28s, and I think it's because they're on clearance right now. We've had them so long, we knocked them down a little bit. They're going for under $11, free shipping at this point, but the vintage Z28, you can't really see it there, but those have made some really good money for us over the years. If you saw the video a couple weeks ago with Poncho right here trying to get into the plush without me knowing, behind my back while I was recording, I just told him no, and he's behaving. Are you behaving? You got the hiccups? You got the hiccups. What am I? Oh, golf club head cover. 30% off. This one was around so long that we sold it 30% off, and it's not a great one. Wasn't a great one to begin with, so it only sold for $7 plus shipping, but I'll take it. It is this vintage Callaway Big Bertha right here. I think this is the right one. I might have 2 in there. I better check. So $7 plus shipping on that one. So not a great, jeez, not a great sale. All right, y'all. Turner's got some Commonwealth comedy. What do you got?
Why can you never trust the fastest animal in the world?
You can't trust the fastest animal in the world. Why?
Because he's a cheetah.
I love it. Reagan's got to thank some folks for buying things from CommonwealthPicker.com. What do you got?
Robert and Richard got Junkyard Flipper stickers.
Junkyard Flipper stickers. That's
Poncho.
Richard Poncho. That's Richard Otnip Drop Flips. Thank you, bud. We appreciate you very much.
Bye, and don't forget to get your stickers at CommonwealthPicker.com. Oh, he got it.
Sold a Chase Utley jersey. Not in the greatest condition, but it was a Cooperstown collection, and Chase Utley's always a great seller for Philly fans, especially in the classic jersey. $40 plus shipping. Sold a receiver, which has been sitting there a long time. I gotta get it out right there. Not my favorite buying forever, but I bought 4 different pieces of stuff that went to this for $20. One of them sold for $70. This one only sold for $35 plus shipping. Hey y'all, I got a quick gift from somebody. Acosta, I think is the name. That was very kind of you. Saw the bucket hat, like you said, reminded me of you, so she had to grab it. So thank you, and thank you all for watching. We appreciate that very much. The girls are constantly on me to promote their Whatnot Dibdit shows, which of course I help run over there. And I think we moved dates around. I think we do have one on Whatnot the rest of this month here, the 24th, and then a coin show. That can't possibly be. I think I'm going to be gone on the 31st, so that can't be right. So on Dibdit. So we might have to bump that Dibdit coin show up a little bit. If you're interested in coins, I got a bulk lot, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and I'm just going to sell it off over there. So at any rate, hey, let me know down below in the comments how you're doing, how your sales are, how your work ethic is, your discipline. Are you putting in the work, or are you taking a little bit of break during Q4 like some people do and ramp up and get ready for during Q3 and ramp up and get ready for Q4? Let me know if you have any interesting strategies to build up a sourcing account, and if you use a business account below as well. Thank y'all as always for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next